Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: people who take massive war crime level dumps in public bathrooms but don't flush. Why? Can't flush it if it's on the floor now, can I? Fair play. My dude really said check and mate. As a janitor, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Also, why poop in the urinal? Shitter was full. Merry Christmas. Sometimes there's shit on the outside of the toilet. Edit, out there, you're Canadian. In here, European. Thank you for the awards. Ah yes, the Le Turkey sketch that's 2.5 minutes long but feels like it's 5 hours long, yet I'll watch it twice in a row to laugh and suffer simultaneously, and I have no idea why. NSFW language, https://be/bjvnogewzv4. I believe it's called the fight or flight response. Lord knows I booked it out of there. Did you flush? He asked, realizing he might not like the answer. Armchair anthropologist here with a real theory. For homeless people, public restrooms are the only restrooms. Now, not that all homeless are junkies, but for sure there are homeless opioid users. Also, it is a symptom of opioid abuse that you can't shit, but when you do, you birth a behemoth worthy of legend. So you drop a legit log that won't even flush by its sheer length and girth, and you're homeless and high on opioids. Do you have the courtesy to break that guy up and send him on his journey? Probably not, you got better shit to do. Some people like to show off. Big dick energy. Big poop energy. For me, I get confused when there's no paper, and no way in hell they had a ghostie. You don't know it's a ghostie without paper. They flushed once, the paper washed down but the log didn't. Yep. There's a certain consistency of floater that will just unravel itself from all the toilet paper and hang around for infinite flushes. I have lived with one of those people. Said person would wipe, close the lid and flush. If they were in a hurry, they wouldn't both reopening the lid to check. What if it's so large it doesn't flush? Poop gif. Quick military story: I used to be a missile officer in the Air Force. A couple hundred times, 392 to be exact, in the mid-2000s, I went out to remote sites and commanded nuclear missiles, etc. Anyway, those remote sites had underground capsules replete with toilets. Some of those toilets didn't work too well on the solids. So, some of my compatriots developed a poop knife, i.e. a butter knife stolen from the site's kitchen, tied forward/taped to a plunger handle. We used the poop knife for months, maybe years, can't remember exactly. But it cut a lot of shit down to size. Unfortunately, towards the end of my career going to those sites, that fucky gross knife disappeared, and it was theorized that it went back into kitchen rotation. If I had to guess, it was a departing officer's way of saying fuck you to some pretty frustrating, stressful duty. Everybody was wary of every butter knife for months. Well, having had the office by the bathrooms, I can probably tell you. Mostly they just don't know that it didn't go down. Epic filled bowls take more than one flush, and some people's mothers didn't raise them to check their flush. They just get up, hit the lever, hopefully wet their hands, and leave. Other people clog the toilet. In my case, we had a plunger, but many bathrooms just don't for some ungodly reason. And even in our case, many people just leave because they don't know how /don't want to deal with a clogged toilet. Again, I blame bad parenting, probably just didn't get enough hugs as a child. Oh, and there were a few people that put fucking paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers, you really have to watch out for them. Oh, and there were a few people that put fucking paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers, you really have to watch out for them. Is this a common thing? I worked somewhere where there was a mystery person who kept putting entire rolls of TP in the toilet. It happened roughly once a month, and we had to call the plumbers sometimes because it clogged so badly. Is this just standard disgruntled employee fuckery? Edited to add, it wasn't a toilet paper pillow for poo situation. This person was putting the entire toilet paper roll, cardboard tube and all, into the toilet, without anything else added. In my case, I think it was just people who didn't know better. I learned a lot there about what people are or aren't taught. Things I took for granted, like how to do laundry, manage a paycheck, or that only toilet paper will break up in a toilet and that anything else will cause issues. I only recently discovered our toilets at work are this way. In my defense, apparently the pipes are fucked up and it's a delayed reaction. I only found out recently because I was the one of a couple people in the office, and I was having a pretty bad stomach day. I knew for a fact that no one had gone in between my trips, and yet there was my shame in all its glory. It had come back for revenge, or to say hello, I'm not sure. It was not ready to depart this world, it was unfinished business. I did my deed, I watched it flush. The water filled back up, it was clean. Then, I waited. Sure enough, it came slinking back out like a guilty dog after eating trash. I flushed twice for number 2 now. That seems to do the trick. Sure enough, it came slinking back out like a guilty dog after eating trash. Lol. What about the people that have sticky poop where no matter how many times you flush it doesn't dislodge and you have to use another bowl? I imagine the dude doing the walk of shame to another stall to continue on his path of toilet destruction. Yeah, unlike his poop, he doesn't stick around. They are saving the planet by saving water. Well, you're not wrong. I once had a war crime-size dump that wouldn't flush. It was way too big and wouldn't break up after multiple flushes. This was at high school, so after a few tries I was gonna be late for class and had to go. It was so big later in the day I overheard people talking about it. Forgot my poop knife. We've all been there. War crime level. Lol. This is military grade stink we're talking about. Shit is serious. Quite literally in this case. Okay, so this is my story and I can't be bothered changing accounts to a throwaway, so hopefully I don't get any repercussions. I had a customer years and years ago. She hated me and I never knew why. I was polite, eager to help but not obnoxious. My boss theorized it was because I was a kid. Mind you, I was about 21 but looked around 15. I found out she worked as a cleaner for public toilets and that included a local one. One day, I was serving her at the register and she was paying cash. Instead of handing the money over like a decent human, she tossed it and waited for me to pick up the coins. I picked up the coins and smiled, asking if she was okay, and brushed it off as an accident. On my lunch break, she did it to the local cafe worker, a girl who was around my age. I asked around and yeah, she did this to all the kids who served her. So, I did what any mature 21-year-old did. I worked in a pharmacy, bought some laxatives and waited after my shift. I went to the local public toilet that I knew she cleaned and let out the biggest, wettest, most cramp-induced shit I had ever had. It hurt and I swear I lost a few kilograms. I pulled out a Sharpie and wrote in the cubicle, treat us with respect and you throw money, we throw shit, and so on. I did a stakeout. I was a distance away in a parking lot and waited. I ate some Maccas and waited. Around 7:30 to 8 o'clock she arrived in her glorious uniform and her trolley of goods. She went in and came out and choked. I laughed and watched. She was in there for close to an hour. The next time I served her, she was timid. She was scared. She did not throw money at me. TL, doctor, I took laxatives to get revenge on a cleaner who was mean to me and my peers. Edit, thanks for the awards, guys. Here's a follow-up. So about a week or so after this shit happened, she was back into the pharmacy and she was all bitchy again but no money throwing. I decided to do one last, smaller, non-laxative induced turd for her. This time, I didn't do a stakeout because I couldn't be fucked. But I left a decent-sized turd baby in that porcelain with only one thing written in Sharpie. We are still watching you. I reckon she got the message because she stopped being a massive bitch after that. Last I heard of her, because it's been like 8 years now, is that she had quit her job not too long after and is a quiet and respectful customer now. Remember kids, violence is never the answer. You can show people the light by opening your blinking abyss. That is exactly what any responsible 21-year-old would do. The best part about this is that she probably treated so many kids like shit, she had no idea Op was the one who did it. It could have been any of them. From Op's description of the dump, she might have even thought it was all of them. Holy shit. Retribution * shit. Sometimes the toilet doesn't flush. It's not like I can take it back out. I stopped at a GA rest stop and had to go. It could not wait. 6/7 toilets were clogged with multiple shits and / or had shit all over the seat, so I used the only toilet remaining to take a massive bean on a road trip eating fast food for 3 days. Shit. It wasn't until I had wiped and stood up that I realized there was no way to flush it. The toilet had been broken the whole time. It was clear to me that my mountain of shame, piled some distance out of the water, would remain present for the next visitor. Embarrassed, I hastily washed my hands and left the scene of the crime, hoping nobody would notice, but as I turned the corner I watched as someone entered from the other side, opened the stall I was just in, and shouted, "Oh, we're fucking gross." I couldn't disagree, but I wasn't about to stick around to explain things. I hopped in my car and never looked back. C'est la guerre. Imagine all the people who stopped at that rest stop after you did, only to find that all 7 toilets were full of shit and unflushable. Oh, that poor janitor. Take half out with your bare hands, and flush. Put the other half back in and flush again. Gosh, the audacity of some people. Have you considered pinching it off, halfway through a shit? It was really gross, but I did that once. Except I picked some up with toilet paper and brought it to the next stall. I slowly flushed a little bit down at a time. I did this at work, so I was terrified someone would come in and catch me in the act, but luckily I got away with it and both toilets worked in the end. Lol, pinching it off. Sometimes once that train is rolling through the tunnel, you ain't stopping it.